Welcome to Let's Talk with Sandra A, an open space for women to talk wifehood and womanhood and everything in between, vulnerably, transparently, and willingly, through the power of experience. We have decided to spice up this show, but before we go far, have you subscribed to this show? If yes, thank you. But if no, please subscribe. Now, thank you for joining the family. We have started a new series of our show, which is going to be on children and everything that we need to know about children. We shall call it the Dynamic Episodes. I'm talking about spicing up the show. We have a new member on board, and that is none other than Nyandira Betty Kilama. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You look good.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and being part of this show.
My pleasure.
Yes. And welcome to the rest of us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
How
you.
are we doing?
It's been good.
Yes, so as you've heard from my introduction, we shall look at the children dynamics. And on this episode, we shall focus on our pregnancy journey. We want to discuss everything that we went through, or how our pregnancies went, right from the time we tested HCG positive, during the pregnancy, and after the pregnancy. So we shall start by sharing when you tested positive. What was your reaction? How did you feel about it? Was it a planned pregnancy? If it wasn't planned, what came into your mind? What feeling did you have at that point? Let's start the show. Yes.
Wow. Okay, let me go in first as usual.
Yeah.
So I've been pregnant twice. The first pregnancy was not planned. I got pregnant while in school, in senior 4. And to be honest, I think I started my menstrual cycle in senior 3 third term. So I didn't have the proper knowledge of how it comes, is it consistent and stuff like that. So in senior 4 the following year I got pregnant, and so amazing that I didn't know I was pregnant till 5 months.
Oh.
Wow. A cousin of mine, may he so rest in peace, at the time I was living at my uncle's home. So I remember telling my cousins, I was like, whenever I go to the toilet, my stomach is loose, I feel stomach ache, and when I scratch my body, it swells. Then my late cousin was like, when you go to town, come to Gulu Referral. I was actually at the time doing his internship from Gulu Referral. So I went and he told me, go and bring your urine. Like, I didn't totally know urine is to test for pregnancy.
But wait a minute.
Yes.
How do you say you realized after 5 months, when you know as a girl or as a woman,
when you miss your period?
I made mention that I started seeing my menstruation
In senior 3.
senior 3 third term. Okay. Then in senior 4 first term, remember I have
Going through the experience of menstruation cycles.
Now I get it.
So when I went to the hospital, my cousin told me to give me a container, go bring your urine sample. So when he tested, he just kept quiet. I told him, okay, fine, go back home. We just found malaria and also post pictures of my blood sample. But when I reached home, I saw the environment was so tense. Like, I saw my uncle's eyes were all red. And I was like, what is going on? You know, like a jolly environment suddenly has become so, Then I was called in the living room. And then my uncle was all crying, And I remember the wife telling his wife, actually, saying that, Sandra, with this whole brightness, you've decided to just ruin your life just like that. And guess what? Even at that point,
you didn't know.
They didn't
tell her.
Oh, they didn't.
My cousin didn't tell me.
Wow, that was.
Yeah, he did.
I wish.
So my uncle just didn't say anything. He just got out on the couch and went in his bedroom. It was at that point that now my late cousin was like, Sandra, when you came in the hospital, we tested and you were pregnant. Now that was the time when it started making sense. I'm like, oh, so this explains why.
The sudden change of atmosphere at home.
And I then told, of course, the person responsible, and the guy told me, no, I'm not ready, this and that. Not to go into the details, yes. So there is really nothing much I can say about the first pregnancy, but the second pregnancy was really, really planned. I had even installed an app in my phone
to track progress.
Yes. So 3 months to our wedding, I was already tracking my. I remember I went with Florence to remove this medicine that they put here. I went with her. We went and removed the implant. I think that was in October, November. And our wedding was in Jan. So then we went for honeymoon. Our wedding was planned in a way that I was already in that period when I knew
fertility zone.
So everything was planned, and when I tested, I think after 3 weeks, there were 2 lines, and I was excited. I'm like, oh, thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God. Yeah, so true. My pregnancy journey.
And now there is me thinking why you were doing things in senior 2 and 3 and 4.
She already did it for like 2,
No. Actually, let me tell you, the first sex I had
you just went and you were trapped.
was pregnancy. Like, honestly speaking.
But you were still playing in the sun.
But senior 4, me, I started in senior 2, you people. You're talking about senior 4.
Doing things in
Yes.
Like, honestly, senior 4, and the story is quite an amazing story. I don't know.
Still naive, you don't know anything, you just. I understand.
Yes, but because even me, I remember with my first pregnancy, I was already old enough to know that if I miss my period, I'm pregnant. So now my unfortunate situation came in when it happened to me the first time I had an unprotected sex. Because all along I've been having
when the first time and you were also
first time I tried to eat the sweet without the cover is when I got
arrested you,
my dear. So you people, when I missed my period, I was like, is this okay? Because of course now with this, girls meeting that happened in school, when you miss your period, just know you're pregnant. So now when I missed my period, I said, okay, let me first wait. Maybe this time it has delayed. So I stayed for like 1 week and the thing wasn't coming. I started now panicking. I started to worry because I had not yet introduced any boy at home, anywhere at school.
Which class were you in?
And I was in my senior 6 vacation.
That was
I was in my senior 6 vacation, but
this one is after class.
I know, but remember, I was on a scholarship. Yes, Invisible Children.
You didn't really have to ruin that.
One of their rules was you don't, whether you're in the university or in institution, you
must finish first finish school.
There's nothing like I'm now in the university, so I am free to study. To get pregnant and continue studying.
So, from what I remember, those days when we were still in school, we would test. Like each
when you're reporting
to school
after 1 month.
Actually, that one now came in after. We were still in vacation. So now when the time for resuming school came, that is when now they took all of us, all the girls now for testing. And that is another story, maybe for another time. But I would really love to share what happened there. So when I realized I was pregnant, you people, I shivered because telling my mother was also something that I would break her because her hope was in me and she really prayed and really wanted for me to study until the last dot. So I really panicked, and then later I came to terms with it. I notified the owner of the pregnancy. He didn't deny, thank God. Yes, but still, the fact that now I knew I had disappointed my parents, I had disappointed myself, I had also disappointed the organization that was paying me. That was something that was really so burdening for me. Yes, that is my experience.
Wow. I don't know. My pregnancies, both of them were not actually planned, but all I remember is I realized I was pregnant after 3 months, but by then I'd already finished campus. I was doing something small for myself, and then one day when I was going to work, I felt weird in the morning, and then I was like, it seems something is wrong with me. I was feeling this stomach ache which was too much. It was abnormal. Then I was like, I think I should first go for a scan. I didn't want to take medicine then go and find something else, because we usually have these things of if you take a medicine before going to the hospital, you may go and they will not find
the problem.
So I was like, let me first go and do a scan. Then I went to a clinic, I did a scan, and then the doctor asked me, when was your last period? I said, 22nd of that month. Last month. So he was like, okay.
And then now you start seeing stars.
No, at campus now you understand.
You understand, but you be there when you're not yet ready.
Not campus, after campus.
She had graduated.
I graduated by then. So, after doing the scan, I sat there. Then the doctor was like, you go and see the nurse. I went to the nurse gave me my results. Then I went back to the doctor. He was like, you're pregnant. Congratulations. I was like, what? Congratulations for what? I didn't know. My periods were consistent to me. Of course, it was coming 2 days. Previously, it used to come for 3 days, but that time it came for 2 days. The first month, 2 days. The second month, 2 days. Even the third month, 2 days. So to me, it was consistent. I didn't know anything.
You never missed.
And finally, for me, when I'm pregnant, I don't crave things. I don't anything that pregnant women do. Don't happen to me. I am a very normal person. I eat normally. I walk normally. Everything is normal to me. So for me, I was okay. And then when they told me I was pregnant, I was surprised. But I told my husband. By then, we were still boyfriend and girlfriend. And then he was like, okay, that's fine. So what can we do now?
So that's where the story of going home now came.
Yeah. I shared that.
Yeah.
So it was like, now what we are going to do is, I think we should organize from our home, then we go and sit for at your place. I was like, fine. I informed my parents. We went there. I was at home. Then they went to see my parents. I came back to town because they were in the village by then. I came back to town, and then I came and chilled. They started looking for me, asking, when are these people coming back? When are these people? I was like, they're not yet ready. They'll come back when they're ready. My parents only heard after I given birth, because even when I was pregnant, none of them knew. Even in the second pregnancy, I think it's a funeral we had at home that took me home. No one knew I was pregnant. Even my friends knew I was pregnant when I was already 7 months. Because
your tummy doesn't go.
Yeah. So that was it.
Okay. Now, me who is waiting for experience. Yeah, but of course I have friends who have gone through that. Yeah, first pregnancy, I think to me I've seen most people always they're not ready. Unless maybe you're married. Yeah, they're not ready, and you know, some of them, as Mrs. Ratkara said, they get rejected with the pregnancy, and then you have to be there with them, talk to them. It's not the end of life, those things. Yeah, but at the end of the day, those things happen. Children are gifts, and I'm still waiting for the experience. Thank you. Yeah. It's my pleasure being in the show. Thank you so much for hosting me. I've always been following the episodes, and I've been so much interested in the show. It's my pleasure being hosted today. Thank you so much. As previously introduced, my name's Nyandira Betty Kilama, and pertaining this topic to
tonight we are talking about first experience in our pregnancy journeys. My first pregnancy, I got pregnant after I'd finished my degree, after dating for a while. In my heart, I desired to have a child after campus, and by the grace of God, at that time I was already doing something. I had not officially introduced this man at home, but we had known ourselves for a while, and I was trying to time myself to get the pregnancy. I also didn't know that the other side, he was also trying to time me, so it would also make me pregnant.
All of you were timing
So
each
we
other.
just, yeah, you know, we didn't sit like on a round table discussing and say, I think we are ready for this. I had that fear. He also had that fear. We discussed about it later. So at one point, when I realized I had a few changes, at that time I was doing my postgraduate diploma, and I realized I would get so tired early in the morning, but it quickly ran into my mind that I might be pregnant. So I quickly went to the pharmacy, bought this test kit, came and tested from home. Of course, we had those experiences when we were at campus. Ladies would test, they would share the experiences, and I also did the same. And after testing positive, to tell you the truth, I was excited.
Wow.
I was very excited, and I gave him a phone call. He used to work far away from Gulu. I was actually in Gulu, then I called him. I told him, I wanted to tell you something. I told me, please do. I was like, no. I wasn't so sure about his reactions, because just like Mrs. Rajkara said, we have had experiences of boyfriends, of people changing when it comes to issues of pregnancy.
That gender.
Yeah, so
Hello.
when I called him, we agreed that we would have a physical discussion. To me, I was ready and said, if this man refused the pregnancy, I wanted it, I would be happy to even take care of the child alone. So when he traveled back, we sat down. Then I broke for him the news. Trust me, he was even more excited than me. And he told me, I timed you. I was like, in my heart, I could tell him. But I just couldn't tell him that face to face, because I wanted to also be in feeling like maybe. Yeah, sure. So
Wow, that's nice.
Mine was a good experience, actually. Yeah, we
good.
didn't talk about it, but we both desired in our hearts and felt that we were ready. Yeah.
Yes. Let's look at now how we were able to cope with the challenges that come with pregnancy. Stuff like morning sicknesses. When you're pregnant, you're not supposed to sleep on a certain position. The stress, you know, all those challenges that come with pregnancy.
Yes. So for me, mine I think is kind of something that I picked on from my mother, because I was told my mom goes through a terrible morning sickness, very terrible. And for me, the first pregnancy, the morning sickness was bad. There was vomiting, there was changes in the cravings and stuff like that. But let me tell you, the second pregnancy
was all good.
Oh, it was what?
Actually, I was in hospital every week. Every week I would be in hospital. The vomiting was something else. The sickness was something else. And then I developed pressure at, I think, 5 months, and that is how I sailed through. So from the day that I think I tested that I was pregnant, that was actually even how the morning sickness started, until I was 7 months. So I would vomit. So every time I would be put on glucose, I would. So for me, that experience just scared me to a point that I would go on the calendar every day to see when is this day approaching. I'm tired. But
I understand, and I feel you when you say you ran up to 7 months. Yeah, I'm also the same as you. The way my pregnancy treated me was really bad, and for me, when I'm pregnant, just know my skin even doesn't look like this because I don't apply any lotion. Actually, the one thing that I can use is, if any of you know TikTok. TikTok body jelly, that jelly there that you use for
Making waves for pencil.
that one you
For me, that I wouldn't even use
that
because
is
of
the only
smell.
jelly I can use. Then the rest of this other lotion, no. Bathing soap,
No.
Washing detergents like Omo, Magic, this one, no. I'm supposed to want to use blue soap and then maybe I apply TikTok.
Actually, the first 4 months I bathed without soap.
Wow. Yes, and mine runs for 6 months. Even taking tea, I don't take. If I'm taking, then I have to take hot water without tea leaves, without sugar. You get it? Yes, and then the vomiting is also there. But vomiting, I vomit for the first trimester, the first 3-4 months there. That is when I vomit that bitter substance there, that bitter stuff. And then, of course, now it is normally from 8 to 10 in the morning there. After that, I am okay. Though, of course, now I feel weak and then lazy, but at least now I start to come back to myself.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yes. And then some cravings also came in, and I was really craving weird things. I was craving alcohol. I was
alcohol.
Yes.
That happens to me as well.
I craved.
Yeah.
There is this
And you used to take.
There is this local brew that is not distilled. It is called kwete in the
Very
local
good.
language. That is what I used to crave.
Sandra used to walk from Laibi to main market for some juice in the main market.
Imagine. And for me, I was staying around Gowen's quarter, and there were some points around Akalalia. There was some point there
That's far.
I used to sell kwete, but now I have to sell a border to go and
For you, me, I
after
would
the
walk.
kwete came pumpkin, you people. Pumpkin craving was a lot. After that, now V&A.
For you, your
get it,
craving was wow.
But after the 6 months, I was okay because I wasn't even drinking water. Drinking water. People say, okay, we all know water is dying. And now imagine I was just there. I'm not drinking water. I'm not taking tea. I was just there, like, and my skin can just be so pale. I be there when I'm like, and all the time I feel like I should shout to the top of my voice. I should scream. I be there when I want to really scream. You be there ever ready for any provocation. You want somebody to provoke you and you just release
And explode.
you have to explode. I'm surprised if people don't even provoke you. You have to just remain in that
Because they know.
Wow.
Slowly now.
For me, I'm still waiting to experience.
But don't get scared.
But no experience. But I've been near Sandra. I've seen her go through that, and the truth is, it's not easy. It's not. Sometimes we are gathered and Sandra carries us, so goes away. Body spray, no. If you wash your clothes,
stopped washing.
yeah, almost.
For my sake,
Because if you come and you just pass near her, she'll be like, you used almost.
But it can take long.
Yeah.
to get there.
But I'm waiting for the experience. People know when it's there.
From Eunice.
so Eunice has nothing to say.
I pray I'll be like Eunice.
like a superhuman.
But mine again, my first and second trimesters are always not so much disturbed. I feel challenged in the last trimesters. That's when I have a lot of mood swings, Then it reached a point that I didn't want any male person near me, including my husband, by the way. And then when any male person passes, I get a weird smell. I get a weird smell and immediately feels and then I feel irritated, and then towards my last few weeks, that's when I started vomiting. I developed pressure in all my pregnancy. Yeah, but in my first pregnancy, the second one, I would be okay.
Wow.
I would crave for things, but not necessarily that when it's not there, I fail to survive. Yeah, but then what I loved most in my first pregnancy was fene. Then I loved to eat chicken, and there was one particular place I wanted the chicken to be born. And when they did buy chicken, I will know.
Sandra's
In
eating
fact,
point.
even the mere smell from a distance, I know that chicken is not from that place. But it wasn't as serious as Mrs. Rachel shared hers. So it all takes people differently. Yeah, it all takes people differently.
Waiting.
And then, my fellow ladies, there are also some myths that we get to really be told when you're pregnant.
Yeah, they shouldn't do.
People talk about a lot of things, the do's and don'ts, and those are, and then later you can find out those are just myths. You get it? So have we in our pregnancy journey heard of such myths, and then how did you go about
The first pregnancy, nothing that I know of, but in the second pregnancy, I think from Brian's side, they have a belief, I think, that when you're pregnant, you don't have to have anything to do with tamarinds. Whether touching, whether walking under the tree, whether it's what, you're not supposed to do it.
Wow.
And then the second myth that I actually got was when I had gone to the salon to do my hair. And the lady was like, you first find out. Maybe we're not supposed to line you. And stuff like that. I'm like, I don't think so. Let me call my husband. Then I called. He's like, no, that's okay.
But how are you sure that your husband even has the knowledge?
Because they know those things.
Old women, old people.
They are told, I think.
From their clan, though, definitely.
Yeah,
This is accepted or not. So for me, those are
Okay, what was the explanation of telling you not to touch tamarind?
According to them, they say that there is actually evidence that when you touch tamarind or drink or do something in line with it, you lose the pregnancy.
Oh. And you avoided it totally.
Absolutely. But of course, coming from a born again faith,
You didn't see
it did move me, but okay, for the sake of his peace of heart, I just had to oblige.
For my sister, I noticed when she was pregnant, my mom told her, don't sit on top of a motor.
A motor.
Yeah, don't sit on top of a motor. You know those things. I didn't know why. But when I asked her one time, why did she say that to my sister? Then she said, even me, my mom also told me not to do that when I was pregnant.
Just like me, I was told that when you're pregnant, when you sit down, nobody's supposed to jump over your legs. And they say when it happens, the child So when you're seated, you should always be at the wall, and then you be careful. Nobody should cross over.
What I had, of course, I didn't grow up among elders, so we were in a nuclear setting, something like that. So only when I was old enough and I was already pregnant, then they told me that pregnant women are not supposed to go to funerals. Then I was wondering that if you happen to go, if the person is so dear to you and you happen to go, the only thing you can do is sit from afar. You won't go to where
they're going to bury.
Yes, and then there is a tradition related to that. I also heard that when you go to where the grave is, there's a tendency of picking soil and pouring. Yes, that when you're pregnant, you're not supposed to do it. Yeah. And I've heard that series of times.
Some myths are really so scary. Me, I remember when I was pregnant, and then a friend of mine was also pregnant, a really close friend, and now her time for delivery came in before mine, like 3 months ahead of mine. So I organized myself. She was operated, so I organized myself. I cooked food. As I was going, I met some ladies who knew me, and they were like, where are you going? You're carrying a basket. Then I told them I'm going to check on this person. She has been operated and she has a newborn baby. And they were like, but now you're pregnant. You're not supposed to go to a delivery.
When you're pregnant,
when you're pregnant, and then yes, you're about to also, give birth. So even for that day, I had to return home. I didn't even
go.
I didn't, because now they told me once you step on, they call it blood. That blood, you lose your
that thing
pregnancy.
happened to me.
Yes,
It's
you
true.
lose your pregnancy.
So I didn't lose it, but I gave birth that same the next day.
Really?
Yeah.
No, but so when I went home,
Maybe you were just due.
No, I wasn't due until 2 more weeks. Actually 3.
So now, who saved me was my mother. Because when I reached home and she was like, "That have you gone? Have you checked on your friend?" I was like, "Today I was going, but then I met these ladies who told me this. So I had to come back." And then the question she asked me was like, "But Sarah, you are educated. Now ask yourself, don't we have midwives who are pregnant?
Who works there?
First ask yourself that question, Sarah. Don't let people be, telling you things that...
But maybe it was according to that lady's tradition. Maybe where she comes from.
Don't over listen to people when you're pregnant. It's like meat, and then just tomorrow prepare your thing and then you go. And don't even now be telling people you're going to the hospital when you're pregnant. Don't be talking like that. And then there was a day also an OG of mine came to visit me, and then I was cooking bowl with eggs. As I was doing this, when you're cooking eggs, and then she was like, you're pregnant, you're not supposed to do this. You'll give birth to a baby with some hope. You people was like, this is too much for me. You get it. So that's why the meats I get.
Wow.
And then a lot more, but I think these are all just, it depends on your belief.
Exactly.
And then another even more weird one was that when you're pregnant, you're not supposed to make love with your husband, like let's say after 6 months, like after 6 or 7 months.
Of pregnancy.
Because if you continue to have sex, you'll give birth to a baby with
the sperm
on the head. You people.
Hey, local language is of you.
No,
it's different. It's different.
It's different. When you give birth, the baby comes with...
And yet in actual fact, the baby is so covered.
Exactly. Until I had to ask, by the way, when I went to my antenatal visit, I really had to ask the midwife that is it really true? At what stage are we supposed to now stop?
But you're not even thinking about sex. For me, I just didn't even, you would even pity me. How do you even start sex issues?
But of course now sometimes the men would want
That's true.
for the sake of your marriage. So those were the needs. Now let's look at the support. In terms of the support we were given during our pregnancies, do you feel you were given adequate support, really, like maybe from your husband, from your relatives? Did you have enough and a strong support system? And then maybe the recommendations you would give for people who are pregnant, what do you think are the kind of support that they need for them to really have a peaceful and memorable pregnancy?
For me, for the first pregnancy, honestly, I think I sailed through the pregnancy alone, emotionally, physically, even up to after birth until, some really long period of time. But in the second pregnancy, I'm grateful to God, I had full support. Because having support doesn't mean you are not fighting or not issues and stuff. But honestly, I had full support during the pregnancy. I'm one of those women who my husband would take me for every antenatal visit. And then every time I was sick, he made sure he traveled back. And let me tell you, he would travel weekly. And then it was funny, when he was around, I would be fine.
When he's away,
he lives like this. I will fall sick and you see this person is dying now. But I had his full support, and even after birth, I even had actually more support. So both family, in-laws, friends, my husband, his workplace, support was immense.
Just like with me, I also had very good support, especially from my sisters. I have elderly sisters. They even picked the clothing they used for their previous pregnancies. They clothed me. My husband was also there, and most especially was my mother. She was really there for me. And I have an aunt, a sister to my husband, who works at Lacho Hospital, and whenever I would go there, even when my husband is not there, she would make sure she makes the processes of doing everything easier and faster for me. So I felt good in the first pregnancy, and also in all my other pregnancies. It was really a good moment.
For me, I strongly believe I also have that support.
You will, of course.
Because the people near me, they are good people. You are also here. You know, you have my back, and I have the most amazing husband, and just can't wait. Yeah.
I think I had enough support, both from my home people, my friends, and then even from my workplace. Because when I was at work, they would not even allow me to touch certain things. I would just sit and wait for things. They would even bring for me breakfast. So I had enough of it. And this thing of not falling sick and then not craving things, I'll just make up things in my head.
That you want
I would actually want to be pregnant. I want to be pregnant. I don't want those things.
You want to have those feelings.
I wanted those things, and I would just create things and then call
So like, I want to eat this.
I want this and that. When I didn't even actually need it. So call in the morning. In the second pregnancy, I was working far away from home, so he would call and check on me. Then I had support from my friends. My best friend would check on me. When I'm quiet on social media, she would call me. Is everything okay? When I tell her I'm going somewhere, she would stop me. Those kind of things. So,
I would also say the same. I really got enough support, because with my first pregnancy, remember when I said I was in my senior 6 vacation, so now losing my scholarship, and because now my parents wouldn't afford paying me, so now like I've lost my scholarship, I've also lost my education at that time, you get it. And then also after the pregnancy, my first baby stayed for 4 days and she died. You get it? I developed a preeclampsia during my labor period. Yes, so they had to rush me to the theater, operate me, because it was really going high at a very fast speed. So now they wanted to save my life, and so the baby came out alive, and then after 4 days, she died. But now imagine if I didn't get the enough support, losing your scholarship, losing your education, and then losing your child, and also being operated. You get now dealing with all that situation. If you really don't have people near you to support you really break down. But thanks to my mom, who stood by me even when we were taken for that meeting, where now the organization said, since you've gone against our rules, we are no longer continuing to do so. Please go home. And then my mother was like, Sarah, all is well. It's not the end of life. It's not the end of life. You can still go back to school. So for now, please don't overstress and all that. And she was with me all through. And also the father of the baby was with me. He stood by me. So I think I also got enough support. And what I would recommend is, you people, pregnancy is tough. And so for any pregnant mother, let's be near the person and then give that person the space they need sometimes, and also all that is required for their peace of mind. Yes. So thank you so much for this exhaustive discussion. For the exhaustive discussion. And we've been here at Lovana Apartments. It's in Laro, not very far from Gulu University. So kindly, they have very nice rooms. They have a good ambience. They have everything about here is good. And then thanks to the production team, Smile Production. Thank you so much. Please do remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.
Thank you.